What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. Now, I get a lot of questions about how I have my crested geckos be so tame. Now, I'm going to show you guys today quite a few things. We're going to show you guys how I handle them, how I get them to be tame, and then if they're not tame, how I tame them down. Also, we've had some babies hatch, so I want to give you guys some updates on the old ones I've already shown you, and I want to show you guys the new ones. And I'm very excited. These guys are so cute. I cannot wait to show you. You guys are going to fall in love as soon as you see them. A few of them actually are extremely spotty, and they literally just get just coming out of the egg before they even shed. Super spotty. So I'm super excited to show you guys. So without any further ado, let's get into the video so I can show you guys all this cool stuff. What is going on, boys? What are you boys doing? All right, guys, so real quick, I'll show you. This looks disgusting, but it's not. I literally just filled it up yesterday, and they pretty much got it dirty that fast. But since it's been so hot here, we gave them this pool just so they can have something to swim around in. We're going to be upgrading their pool, so that's going to be the duck upgrade that we're going to be doing relatively soon. I would say in the next week or two. You guys are going to want to stick around for that. It's going to be a very cool video. We're going to be putting basically... Well, I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You guys can probably guess what we're doing, but you guys will see that in the next week or two probably. But real quick, we basically just have this little dog gate around here, and I have it attached to the door. Basically, just unhook this, which I already did. Then I unhook this. And I just lift up on this gate, and then the door comes open. And I set it down. And then my boys come out. How you doing, boys? Is that right? Yeah? Okay, let's get you some food. I got their water right there too that I got to replace. Their other one from literally last night is dirt brown, but it's fine. You guys hungry? You guys want some food? Okay, let's go in here and get some food. Jeez. You guys act like I never feed you. These two are so fat, I swear. You just dropped all the food you just ate out of your mouth, Jim. For those of you that are new to the channel, this is Jim. This is Dwight. They are best friends, inseparable. Yeah, Dwight. Get it, Dwight. Jim's choking on his food over there. What are you doing? Just go get a drink. You got your water right here. I don't know if this is just a my duck thing or if all ducks are like this, but these guys want to eat all of their food and then go get a drink. I thought they were supposed to eat some food, get a drink, and then just keep going back and forth like that. But no, these guys are always trying to just freaking eat all their food and then get a bunch of water and go swimming in their pool. So that's what they're going to be doing, I'm assuming. All right, guys, let's get into some geckos now. Bye, Jim. Love you. Now, guys, I cannot stress to you enough the importance of the proper handling of your crested gecko for their well-being. You want to make sure that they're healthy and safe, and you need to be able to handle them properly in order to do that. So that is what we're going to get into right now, but first we need to understand crested gecko behavior. So basically, the first thing you need to know is that crested geckos are arboreal. What arboreal means is that they like to climb or be up in trees and things like that. So what you need to know is that wild crested geckos and your crested geckos love to climb, which honestly makes them amazing to handle. You just have to know how to properly do it. Now, crested geckos, I wouldn't say really love handling like a bearded dragon or anything would, but they'll tolerate it. And the more you do it, the more they will tolerate it. Now, the biggest thing about crested geckos is once they lose their tail, or they drop their tail is what it's called, they will not grow it back. So you will have a frog butt. Now, a frog butt is a crested gecko, like I said, that has no tail. Now, this next part is very important. If you don't want a frog butt, you're going to have to watch your crested gecko and make sure you're noticing the signs that they're about to drop their tail. Basically, what they will do is when they feel threatened, they will run around their tank like crazy. Like, I'm talking not just crazy gecko speed, like crazy gecko speed. They will just run and run and run. If you see that, I would shut your crested gecko's tank. I would put the lid right back on, or just shut the doors, whatever. Give them time to calm down and then go back and try to handle them after that. If not, they're gonna drop their tail. Now, basically, if they're right about to drop their tail, they will, if they're not running around like crazy, they will take their tail and they will start wagging it, kind of like a rattlesnake or like a dog. Basically, what they will do is is they will shake their tail to distract a predator from their body, and then as soon as the predator strikes their tail, they will drop it and run and get away from the predator. That's what they do in the wild, and unfortunately they do that all too often in captivity. Now, I told you guys in a previous video, I've never had a crested gecko drop their tail in my care. I jinxed myself, and I finally had my first crested gecko baby drop their tail. It's still very cute, but it just kind of sucks. I wish it had its tail because they use it for climbing and things like that. It just kind of sucks. You just always have to remember patience is your #1 best friend when handling any reptile, but especially crested geckos. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to talk about is preparing to handle geckos. Now the first thing you're going to want to do before you are going to hold your geckos is go and wash your hands and probably your arms of any lotions or colognes or anything like that. You want it to be just your skin. You don't want them to be crawling on anything that could hurt them or be potentially dangerous to them whatsoever. So you want to make sure you're nice and clean. You don't have any cologne, lotion, anything like that on you. That way it doesn't hurt the gecko. So the next step in preparing to handle your gecko is a relatively easy one. It's basically when should you hold your gecko. Now, since they're nocturnal, they're mostly going to be coming out and super active at nighttime. Now, I feel like if you hold them at nighttime, you're probably more likely to get them to drop their tail because they're going to be active and going around like crazy. Now, what I've found works for me is to get them out in the middle of the day because they are going to be sleeping, so they're going to be tired. So once you get them out, they're relatively calm in your hand, and the more you do this, the more they're going to be used to you holding them or you going to get them. Now, one of the best ways to scoop them up is to take your finger or 2 fingers sometimes, depending on how big they are, and whatever direction they're moving in or wherever they're going is basically take your finger or fingers, like I said, and stick it underneath their head and lift up, because they're going to end up grabbing your hand with their little paws or fingers, whatever, and then that's kind of a good way to pick them up. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is proper handling techniques, which the first one I just showed you, and that's how to pick up your crested gecko. Now, it's always important to remember, never pick up your crested gecko by their tail or by any limb or to squeeze them. You basically just want to stick a finger underneath their head and lift up once their front paws are on you, and their whole body is going to follow. It's very, very simple. Another thing to keep in mind is move slow. When you're going in to get your crested gecko, move slow. Don't be putting your hand in their tank super fast or chasing them around their tank. If they're running around their tank psychotically, just leave them for a minute. Put the lid on the tank or shut the doors and you'll be fine. Just come back in a couple minutes and it'll be okay. Now, if you rush them and you keep chasing them around their tank, they're going to drop their tail. They're going to be stressed and you don't want that. Alright guys, so our next section we're going to talk about is taming down crested geckos. How the heck do you tame these guys down? My first answer is very simple. You hold them more. The more you hold them, the more they're going to get used to you, the more calm they're going to be. Now, the way you hold them, which is kind of what we're going to talk about next, is by you can hand walk them. Hand walking is a perfect way to get some of their energy out, and I found that after you hand walk them for a few minutes, which is basically just letting them go from hand to hand and pretty much walking. Sometimes they'll jump from hand to hand. The same thing works. It's still hand walking. But once you do that, I found that a lot of times they'll end up sitting in your hand and just resting for a little bit afterwards. They just want to sit there and hold on to you like you're a branch. I mean, can we just take a minute and look at how beautiful Chips is? Look how many spots she has. Look how big they are. They're literally everywhere. They're all over her paws, her legs, her belly, her head, her back, the upper and lower lateral. She is gorgeous. Now, real quick, guys, look at Big Tanya. I need to give a shout out to Pangea. This is not sponsored by them or anything like that. But thank you guys again for hooking me up at the show that I went to the other day and getting Big Tanya and the other girl that we have not named yet. But Big Tanya is awesome. She looks gorgeous. Look at her. She is literally massive. I'm super excited that we got her. I cannot wait for her to be breeding in the future. But let's keep going with the video. Now, my next point is that regular handling of your crested geckos is going to make them more comfortable with you. That's pretty much the only way you're going to get around it, is just by holding them more often. They're going to be more comfortable with you. And that's pretty much all that there is to know. So now that you guys have a better understanding of crested gecko behavior, how to prepare to hold crested geckos, the different techniques to holding them and getting some of their energy out, as well as learned how to tame them and how to keep them tame and how to have them just be a little bit more friendly with you, I think that we did a good job explaining that. Now let me show you guys some of these babies that we have and some of the ones that have just hatched out. I'm super excited to show you. They are so freaking cute. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so basically this is the first one that hatched out. The second one in this video didn't hatch out yet. They were like a day apart, give or take. And so we're going to talk about the spotted one first. Has a little bit more spots than its clutch mate, which is fine, but I prefer spots. Obviously, I love Dalmatians, but this one I think is adorable. It is so cute. I cannot believe the amount of brindle and how dark these guys are when they first come out. It's amazing because they lighten up. You guys will see in a minute. They lighten up in the span of a day or so. It's literally amazing how fast they do that. But this is literally just me trying to get them out of, you know, the little incubator into their tank. And if you guys know or have seen any of my past videos, you know that I like to keep their tanks pretty bare bones, especially when they first come out. Not really, like, as they get older, I give them their plants and things like that. But when they're first just coming out of the egg, I like to give them pretty much nothing. I know people are going to be like, oh, you're babying them. You're giving them just enough to where they can easily find their food and yada, yada, yada. Well, guess what? Shut up. They're my babies. I want to. So... I like to give them a hide, I like to give them a plant, I like to give them a shallow water dish, a food dish, and pretty much that's it. I mean, they just came out of the egg. They really can't move around that well yet, and they'll get there eventually. I like to keep them nice and moist so they don't dry out or overheat, obviously, or anything like that. You got to make sure that you're not having too hot of temperatures, but that's pretty much how I like to keep my babies, especially when they first hatch out. When they get older, they get a bigger plant, they get some more things to climb on, but for right now, that's not really a concern. My concern is for them to feel safe, protected, and have easy access to their food. Now this is what that baby looked like literally 1.5 days later. You can see all of those big old spots beautifully. It's super easy to see them. I am so excited for this baby. I don't know if I've ever had a baby come out with this many spots and this big of spots. I mean, this thing is gorgeous. I cannot wait to show you guys more as this one prolongs and gets bigger. But I mean, look at all those spots. There's like, what, 15 spots just on its head, like visible right there and just in that shot. Then you've got that one huge one on the neck, a couple on the back. There's like a cluster by the leg. There's some on his legs, on his paw. I'm just so excited for this one. I cannot wait for this one to get bigger because look at that. That thing is cute. And like I said, guys, bare bones, plant, water, food dish, and hide, and that's pretty much it. All right, guys, next I get to show you the newest baby, and this one doesn't have as many spots, but I'm really not too worried about it because, as most of you know, Dalmatians really gain spots and gain bigger spots, and their spots grow as they age. So I'm really not worried about if they come out with a ton. I mean, obviously it's great if they come out with a ton of spots, but if they don't, they're probably going to get them anyway, so I'm really not too worried about it. This one, on the other hand, compared to its clutch mate, is a lot more brindle, I think, and it's kind of got a little bit of a few more white spots on it compared to its clutch mate, which is kind of cool. So I mean, look at those tiger / brindle markings. It's just such a cute little gecko. I'm so excited that I'm breeding geckos. I mean, I can't even believe that, like, I get to do this for a job. Like, this is amazing. Granted, I'm not making any money yet, but that's coming because we haven't really started selling anything yet, and I'm not really getting any ad revenue on YouTube, which, by the way, shameless plug, here we go. I need you guys to subscribe and like and comment. That way we can get monetized and I can start putting out a little bit more content. If I can make this my full-time job, I'm going to, but I need your guys' help, and I appreciate the love. I appreciate you guys looking out for me and all of you that do support me. But let's get back on topic. So this is what this one looked like a day and a half later. I am so excited for these guys to grow. They are literally so cute, and this one has a ton of white spots, unlike its clutch mate, which is kind of cool because Odie, the dad, has a bunch of white spots too. So, you know, I'm just excited to see all the different combos we get with all of these geckos. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. For all my subscribers that are loyal fans and love watching what I do and love seeing the updates of the animals and love seeing the new things we're doing, which, speaking of, we're going to be doing something for the ducks very, very soon. I know I told you guys I'll be doing that a few months ago. Stuff came up, didn't have a chance to do it, so we're going to be doing that very soon, probably in the next week or two. I cannot wait for that. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new, definitely subscribe. You're not going to want to miss what we're doing, and you're definitely not going to want to miss when we start selling geckos, because we have some amazing geckos we're going to be selling soon, but not yet. I'm still holding them out, still growing some out, but I would say within the next year or so, we're probably going to start releasing some geckos. So make sure you guys are subscribed, turn on that notification bell, give this video a like. Thank you guys again. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.